Hello, it is me, your chronically online gay, and this is the beginning of a brand new channel. Yes, and what could be a more perfect way to start off my brand new YouTube channel called the Chronically Online Gay than to talk about all things frenemies. Yes, the ending of frenemies, where we can see them going from here. Can they be friends again? These are all the topics I will be including in today's video for you all. Again, I have been a chronically online gay for many years, starting off in high school in 2014, 2015, give or take. I've been watching YouTube. So I've been a big YouTube watcher for many years. And I decided now would be the perfect time to start a new YouTube channel of my own called the Chronically Online Gay. And in this channel, we will be talking about all YouTube dramas, whether they are past, present, or future. And again, we are going to be starting off with one of the big hitters, in my opinion, the Frenemies saga, where they started, where they ended, and where we are now. And I want to discuss ultimately with y'all, will they ever be friends again? I do not know. We do not know. Because what? We are not Trisha and Ethan. But we can speculate, have fun, and talk about all things drama on the channel. Um, Again, this is my second YouTube channel. I also have a YouTube channel called Samature Hour. I will link it down below if you do feel like checking it out. I cover all things Drag Race on that channel. This channel will have nothing to do with Drag Race. Nothing. Unless there is Drag Race drama, some weird case. But this will be the Chronically Online Gay YouTube channel. And I'm very excited to get into it again. For my first production video, I'm going to be covering the Trisha and Ethan drama. Will they be friends again? Who knows? We will discuss starting this now. And again, we have to start from the beginning because in order to get to where we are today, you need to understand the full context. Again, I am currently wearing my Frenemies merch. I have been following Frenemies from the beginning. Well, more or less from the beginning. And I was a big Frenemies fan. So I will be discussing it all, talking to y'all where they are now, and all of the above. So let's get into it. Obviously, we need to start out with the Trisha's relationship with the H3 podcast. One of the first podcast episodes she was on was where they discussed the concept of starting the Bachelorette with her. Again, H3 Lorette. So, if you've been watching the H3 podcast, you know about this. And then again, they did the H3 Bachelor again later with Jess, and it was actually successful. So shout out to the H3 podcast. Yes, I am a Fupa Trooper. Yes. Fupa Trooper? Fupa Trooper. Yes. So again, the Bachelorette was a big moment in terms of Trisha's relationship with Ethan and with all of the topics that they discussed moving forward on Frenemies and all of the above. So, how did the Bachelorette go? Well, they tried. It's funny if you watch Trisha now, she talks about it without actually discussing H3. She'll talk about it as if she was on some dating show. And oh, none of the guys were the good fits. None of them were good fits. They were all whatever she said. They were all not good. She was like, this was just a joke. This was a blah blah blah. So again, it's interesting to look at it now from this perspective with the way Trisha talks about it. Because it's almost as if Trisha will say all of these things about like the way Ethan did things back then without actually saying Ethan's name. And she continues to do it. She'll like dance around the subject a lot of the times when it comes to Ethan. Because obviously Ethan is such a big part of the online drama sphere. And it's really interesting to me to see how Trisha will try to like walk around and not touch it because she is so much trying to avoid anything discussing Ethan. So they're because everyone's always talking about how Ethan talks about Trisha, right? And he'll still occasionally bring up. Well, not he won't bring up Trisha, but Trisha will come up, and he'll still include her in conversation. But Trisha, on the other hand, is almost like completely trying to avoid any single mention of Ethan. And it's interesting because both of their approaches have changed so much over the years. Again, we'll get to that. I'm jumping ahead of myself. But The Bachelorette was a big starting point in terms of the relationship between Ethan and Trisha, right? So in comes Moses. Moses is Ela Klein's brother. Ela is Ethan Klein's um wife. So again, Ethan's brother-in-law, Moses Hackman, I believe is his last name. Moses comes in not as an actual competitor on The Bachelorette. He decides, Trisha decides to DM him, and then they end quarantining together. So that's the beginning of the Moses and Trisha relationship timeline. And they are still together to this day, right? So he came in and almost in a way ruined the show for Ethan in terms of the Bachelorette. They aren't able to continue it, they aren't able to fully see out the show. Also, I mean, COVID is a factor, right? We have to acknowledge that because, again, this was all in early 2019, 2020, around there. So Moses and Trisha get together. And again, it's interesting. If you look in terms of Moses and Trisha's relationship, I think this ultimately is a big factor as to why Trisha and Ethan aren't friends anymore. We'll get there. Like, Moses brings in a lot of waves, if you will. A lot of waves into the situation. And it's interesting to see where they are now and how big of a role, big of a wave, if you will, Moses played. Of course, this is Ethan and Ela. Love them. They're great. Ela is Moses' sister. So there's family there, right? It's family involved. So this is why it's so messy. This is why things continue to this day to be such a wild situation in terms of what's going on between them. So again, we need more context, right? So I'm trying to build things up. They start Frenemies. This is a wildly successful podcast. Honestly, one of my favorite podcasts I've ever seen on the internet. Like, I love Frenemies. Miss it to this day. It was chaos, but I loved it. Again, chronically online gay, I watched every episode. Like, this was my shit, right? And again, just the chemistry that they had worked so well together. It was truly one of the most powerful podcasts. And I wish so much to this day that it was still continuing. But again, things change, people grow and evolve and start new things. So, Frenemies went through a many sagas, many eras, if you will, of chaos. Many of the times they would get in fights in between each other, oftentimes started by Trisha, if I'm being honest. Well, okay, let's look at it from another perspective. Sometimes things would pop up during these episodes that would trigger Trisha, and that Trisha would react, right? And then that would start fights. They got into several fights. It became almost just part of the show in a way. Every single time we would see pizza, they would get in a fight. It became known as the pizza curse, right? Like, this was a continuous issue. They got into several fights. Many times Trisha threatened to leave the show, right? Because Trisha didn't like the way that the production company was doing things, didn't like the way things were being run, whatever the case may be. He takes that 5%. You know these memes, you know these situations, you know these stories. So again, it's a very overreaching situation involving family too. So it's messy. Frenemies, love it to this day. Still very messy. Also, they were always covering the most hot dramas in the times. And again, if you look at how successful they got, it became astronomical. Like, if you were being discussed on Frenemies, it was not necessarily a good thing, right? Like, it was wild the power that they held during this time. And again, pizza curse. Like, anytime they ordered pizza, they decided to eat pizza, there would be a fight. It ended on a pizza fight. It ended. This was the last podcast that they ever posted. They filmed another one later. But this was the last podcast that they ever posted. So, where did we go from there? Trisha had one podcast with Colleen Ballinger called Oversharing. Again, I can do another video discussing Colleen Ballinger. I was a fan of hers from, again, 2015, 2016 to about 2023, 2024, around there, when all of the allegations about Colleen ended up coming forward. I will be discussing Colleen in a separate video because, again, chronically online gay, like, that was a lot. But ultimately, Oversharing didn't succeed. Trisha started a new podcast called Just Trish. This has honestly, I think, been one of the most successful things Trisha has done besides Frenemies. Like, I really enjoy watching Just Trish. I watch it every episode. I tune in. I enjoy. I do all of that. Like, I love it. It's very chaotic, but I also love it. Like, it's fun. It's fun. It's a fun show to watch. And then obviously we still have the H3 podcast, or sorry, the H3 show. Now they're calling themselves the H3 show. I love H3. I'm a supporter. I am a member. I watch all of the H3 podcast as well. Love to go see it live someday. I'm sure I will. Anyways, H3 podcast, adore, always will support. So they all have gone back to doing their own things, right? They're all kind of separate, just doing each in their own worlds. And my question ultimately becomes, will they ever be friends again? I don't know, because I don't see them doing another podcast together. As much as I would love for Ethan to come on Just Trish, or Trish to go on the H3 podcast just for H3 show for one episode or something like that, can you imagine the numbers that they would get? That would be wild. But I don't see that ever happening, right? And ultimately, they are family now because Trisha is married to Ethan's brother-in-law. They are family. They both have kids. Like, those kids are cousins. It's messy. The entire situation is wild. And I just hope that they can be friendly again. Again, we don't know what happens offline. We don't know the entire situation, but it's messy. And again, I love both of these people. Watch all of their podcasts. Big supporter. And I just hope that someday, part of me, like the chronically online, like, part of me is like, maybe one day we'll just have like one episode of Frenemies come back. I don't know. I hope, But who knows if that will ever happen. So, this is going to be my Chronically Online YouTube channel called the Chronically Online Gay. Again, comment in the comment section what you think about all of this. Do you think they can ever be friends again? I want to hear from you. You can also make sure to hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Become part of the Chronically Online Gay channel. It's so weird because I have another YouTube channel and it's gotten so much to roll off the tongue to just say, oh, become part of the Sandwich Hour community, because again, that's the name of my other YouTube channel. So I'm going to be working on some outros and intros for this YouTube channel. We're going to discuss all things internet drama, talk about many different topics. If there are any other internet beefs or internet situations you would like to see me discuss, let me know. I will be working on a Colleen Ballinger video. Again, I was a fan of Colleen for a very long time. So I have a lot to discuss with that. And yeah, this is fun. It's cute. I don't know. We'll see how this goes. Hopefully, people will watch. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comment section. And like I said, I will be back with some more content. Let me know what else you would like to see. You can follow me on my other social media platforms. Again, it is at Samature Hour on all platforms: Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Yeah, I will be back here later with another video. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye, y'all.